What's a boxing match like in prison?
A boxing match in prison, it's like a more organized UFC MMA fight. It's not necessarily any rules, even though it's boxing. What I mean by that is we're not allowed to kick in boxing. We're not allowed to choke in boxing. But sometimes somebody's getting the worst of the sparring. That fight winds up on a block, winds up in a stabbing. What happened? He got knocked out by such and such in the boxing ring. They take it personal. So you really can't look at it as like, like on the streets, your boxers say, okay, man, it was a good fight, man, this and that. No. They take it personal. So you really got to get their respect in the ring by beating them, and then outside of the ring.
Tell me about the role Stoney Wilson has played in your life.
Smokey Wilson.
Smokey Wilson, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Smokey doing a life bid. He's incarcerated for what we call, in the day of Philadelphia, gang warring was before the Blood and Crips in the West Coast. He served life sentence since 1978 for gang war homicide, gang warring and killed someone. Time I got there, years later, decades, he was one of the trainers that was in Grateford that seen my talent by shadow boxing, and he seen me getting fights on the block all the time where my talent was being used like it was in the streets. And being a young guy, I guess, as he was coming in, he seen another young guy coming in that had fighting skills that like he had. So I was kind of like, you box? I used to. He had a really lazy detached eye because he got thumbed in the eye before, of course, the thumbless gloves came out. And he has a really bad detached retina. I think it's his left eye. And so he told me how his eye got messed up. And he said, my eye got messed up by Artie McLeod when we used to box tournaments in prison. Artie McLeod? Artie McLeod was my mother's brother. I have 3 generations on both sides of the family that boxed locally in Philadelphia that established their names as middleweights and light heavyweights. That there brought on a conversation that brought us together to the day. And I've been home 2 decades. And he's been incarcerated for over 2 decades. My uncle and him was rivals in prison. My uncle, Artie McLeod, who's deceased now, did 5 years. He also, my uncle, was gang worn. Shot through a house, they killed a lady. They gave him involuntary manslaughter because the court feels that his intention wasn't to shoot the lady, was to shoot the guy. But when you're shooting in a house, you never know who you're shooting or who want to get shot. That's how me and Smokey became trustworthy of each other. He became my trainer. He became my schooling. He became my watch this, don't do that. And I didn't know then, but as a year or 2 went by, I realized that he was actually living through me. Because he had a career, not actually off the ground, but he wanted to be what I became.
What do you think you learned from Smokey?
No matter what position you're in, you still have to believe you have a chance, even if it's to get out. He still feels that way. It might happen, it might not. But to feel you have a chance and to feel that you're going to not, because of your doing, live in spite of, you already dead without being in the ground.